you here today.
We are.
And I'm so excited to have the professor back.
I am too.
And we have the professor's wife with us on the show today. We have Robin and Dr. William Forstchen with us today on our broadcast.
Back during the Protestant Revolution, what did the church try to destroy? The printing presses.
Yes.
And then when radio came along, the totalitarian states said, we own the radio, not you. The internet has always been the way for people to talk to people. Back in the 1500s, how did we get word out about the Protestant Reformation? It was printing presses so people could read the truth. Radio. The Nazis, the Soviets, they took over radios. Well, the internet came out for a free people and a free society, and now some want to clamp down on it and control it so that we can't get the truth anymore.
Honor actors and actresses, we think they're cool, but what's going on? Why are these people trying? Is our election flawed? Is our election process wrong? See, now they want, suddenly, they were so happy when they were winning with this electoral college. Now they want to change it. Have you noticed that?
It reminds me of schoolyard kids. Let's have a game, and you play the game, and say, we got to change the rules. Our side didn't win. Change the rules. We all got to win. They want to change the rules after. They didn't talk about it a year beforehand. And by the way, you are not going to change the Constitution of the United States to meet your agenda. Trump went into this, win or lose. We do this by the Constitution. We don't change the rules halfway through the game or after the game, as they tried to do.
They've been calling for the electoral college to be circumvented, that the people should change the will of the people. Well, come on, Professor, straighten us out before it's too late.
The actor Martin Sheen put out an appeal to the electors to change, and I think some people are confused. Maybe he played a president on TV, but he's sure ain't ever going to play one in real life.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'll tell you, Professor, it's time. This is what people are talking about at home. This is what people are yelling at their televisions about. You know, I do. I talk back. You know, Elvis used to shoot the television set. Did you know that?
That's a good idea.
No, I haven't done that. I haven't done that. But I'll tell you what, I have never seen such stupidity elevated to such height.
I might reveal a prejudice here since I'm a writer. If they didn't have the writers to write the lines, what would actors say? The scary thing is when some actors actually believe the lines that they're saying.
What we want to find out is who's writing their lines.
Oh, my gosh. You think there was funding behind all these actors' effort to try and throw the Electoral College? Come on, Zach.
Who's writing their lines?
Enlighten us.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Name one. Come on, name someone you think's writing
This is
some
one
lines.
smart
All right,
guy.
well, we've already talked about one. It's George Soros, and he hires the top writers that will write for his agenda. And then he goes through and he funds these different programs, even, for example, the riots. Like we've talked about this, all those riots that we were seeing after the election, they were organized on a site called moveon.org. And it's common knowledge that, once again, that is a site that is funded by George Soros.
What about that great film director, Michael Moore? What is he calling for on January 20th?
Disruption.
Yes.
He's calling for the people
Do you know
cause
what's scary?
disruption.
That sounds like they want riots in the street.
Yes.
They do.
If there's going to be aggression, it's going to be from the left in the name of peace and diversity and brotherhood and lack of phobias. It's always that way. In their name of peaceful brotherhood, they're the ones who will create violence.
But we cannot lose our temper. If we lose our temper, we lose.
That's right. That's right, Robin. That is excellent.
But we should stand and witness.
We stand
Absolutely.
and witness, but we don't.
What happens?
Absolutely.
They have put a, I don't know what they're called. They're banning all Hollywood movie actors from being a part of the electoral of the inauguration.
And the ones that go anyhow, I'll go to their movies, and the ones that boycott it, they'll never see me in their theater again.
Yes.
Right.
We need to
I agree with that.
stop watching.
Yes.
Stop watching the TV shows that have this leftist agenda. Stop going to their movies.
Right.
Stop giving them your money.
That's it.
That is the only thing that's going to
That's
really
right.
talk
That's
to
the
them.
vote,
That's
right?
right.
You have a
Yes.
vote.
That's capitalism.
Yes.
Yeah, that's capitalism.
It's amusing how these people are so against capitalism, but the moment you decide to boycott something,
Right.
oh, you're violating me.
Yeah.
Well, tough.
Most Christians, honestly, had given up that America could ever turn back to God. And we're already seeing a great turning back to God. We're seeing things that, everybody, all the shows I'm watching anyway, everybody throughout Christmas has said, Merry Christmas,
I know.
Merry Christmas.
I love it.
I was about to say the same thing.
And the president-elect
all his-
went on his thank you thing and put
His
Merry
thank you-
Christmas on the podium, put Christmas trees up behind.
Love it.
And you got these people right now. Do you seen what's in the news the last few months and weeks about the atheists putting their star of Satan, whatever that thing is, in the
Pentagram.
right next to the manger,
You mean the pentagram?
Yeah,
Right next to
yeah.
the manger scene.
honoring Satan on Jesus' birthday. Now listen to me. If you've got enough people in your town that want to vote to put up Satan symbols in your park, then vote, and if they all vote to do it, do it. But if we vote to have a manger scene to celebrate an official holiday of the United States of America, then I believe it's time to let the mangers back in
Absolutely.
to our parks. What's wrong with Christmas? What's wrong with the menorah? Beautiful big menorah sitting in the park. If you have Jewish people that would love that, that's a lovely thing.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, anybody who wants to have religious freedom, they can have it in this country. But what we've been having is the banning of religious freedom. And I'll tell you what, we've got one last chance to turn the clock back. And that's what they don't want. That's what's scaring the daylights out of the people in the streets that are marching. They're scared that they're going to not be able to have freedom to do all the dastardly deeds they want to do.
Ronald Reagan, and the tape you're going to be showing soon, alludes to it over this issue. And folks, you read the First Amendment, and I go nuts every time I hear somebody say separation of church and state. It is not so in the First Amendment. The First Amendment declares that the state shall not establish a religion and shall not interfere with the free practice thereof. Well, they are interfering with our free practice of our religion in the public square. They are violating our First Amendment rights. Let's wake up to it.
That- This man, Dr. William Forstchen, is a history professor, an amazing professor, a writer of books. I think he's written at least
Over 50.
50.
You have
You counted them up.
A lot of books.
And I get to introduce this one. Just came out.
Yes.
He didn't see it till he walked in our studio.
How many
And
times
when I
has
look
that
at the date inside of here, it's January of 2017, my birthday month, which
Comes out the day after your birthday.
the rabbi,
Wow.
Yeah.
the rabbi,
Harbinger.
his book,
Yes.
one of the greatest books of our day,
Right. The Harbinger.
#1 book on the New York Times for years. It's been on there.
That's right.
And that book came out on my birthday. And so I am so honored,
So
Professor,
honored, yes.
that this book is so important. This is in the lineage of the 1 second after and
Yes.
1 minute after, or
1 second, 1 year. Yeah, this is it's the final work.
We got
the
1
trilogy
second after
is
was
finished.
the first one.
1 second
of,
after.
of a trilogy now, right?
Yes.
So we have 1 second after, and then here's 1 year after. The New York Times bestselling author William R. Forstchen, there it is.
Congratulations on that. Yes.
1 year after. And now, the new book I get to introduce today on this special show, The Final Day. And this is so powerful. You describe the rebirth of America after an EMP attack. It's a pretty shocking book, really. It's a pretty shocking event in America. Why did you write the third book in this trilogy?
I started working on the first book in 2004 when a congressional report came out, and folks can look it up on the internet, as long as we still have an internet, and the congressional report on the threat of EMP. You can look it up online. If we were ever hit by an electromagnetic pulse attack, it's generated by detonating 3 small atomic bombs 250 miles above the United States, East Coast, Central United States, West Coast. It would blow out the entire power grid, and according to the congressional reports, 90% of all Americans would perish within a year. No electricity means no water, no food, no medicine, no command control, a complete societal breakdown. I wrote the book as a warning. The book came out in 2009. I was very hopeful because it was given to every member of Congress. I wrote the book at the behest of my friend Newt Gingrich, but also Congressman Roscoe Bartlett. We were hoping for federal action to create what's called the SHIELD, a upgraded ABM defense, but secondly, to upgrade our power grid to withstand such an attack. It hasn't happened. 7 years have passed. It ties into your ministry in terms of preparedness, that don't count on your government to come and save you. You must be prepared yourself in order to survive. We are jubilant about the current political situation, but the struggle is still on. It is still there, both from enemies, foreign and domestic. But it's also, it is a warning about how far things could collapse and the difficulty of trying to rebuild afterwards. It's coming out just before the inauguration of a man I pray shall prove to be one of our great presidents. But it does tie in that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Do not assume because we have a leader that we feel is going to lead effectively that we can all go to sleep. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance.
You should write that down.
Close your eyes for a moment, and evil can march forth yet again. We will be facing crises over the next year. Some of them will be quite bad because we're finally confronting enemies that we're no longer going to be running away from. We have to show nerve the same way Ronald Reagan did throughout the 80s and finally brought the Soviet Union down. We have to bring down ISIS. We have to bring down terrorist states. We have to confront North Korea. We have to tell countries, don't mess with America.
Yes, that's right.
There was a time we went forth and saved the world. Remember that.
Right.
There's so much talk about hacking, and I think still most Americans don't understand that our enemies have been hacking America and hacking into the Pentagon daily, hacking into the White House, hacking into our power plants, hacking into atomic energy plants.
But we had
Colonel Robert McGinnis, who actually works at the Pentagon for the last over a decade, and he actually said thousands of hacks. What do you call it? Cyber attacks. That's what we call it. Cyber attacks happen at the Pentagon daily. Thousands.
He sat right on this show, right where Robin's sitting, and told all of this. All of this.
And our enemies can literally bring down our power plants.
Yes.
They can cause literally bombs to go off remote control wise. You actually write in your book, The Final Day, that America literally gives part of our country to China and Mexico to save itself after the EMP bomb goes off over the United States of America.
Nature abhors a vacuum, as they say. If 90% of America perishes post-EMP and vast areas are depopulated, let's take California for an example. Of 80, 90% of Americans perish, 6 months from now, a bunch of transport ships sailing the red flag of China come in saying, we're here to help you. Here's food. Do you think people are going to say, yes, thank you? Well, the big difference is America did that around the world. We fed a fair part of the world post-1945. We did not steal their land. We did not steal their resources. We rebuilt them. In fact, we rebuilt some of them so well they became our competitors. Do you think China will be so gracious?
Can I relay a story about cybersecurity?
Sweetie, I'm going to.
we were at the college hosted a little soiree with experts from the field from all over, and I was fortunate enough to have a conversation with someone who works for Bank of America, and I said, you know, one of the nightmare scenarios I have with cybersecurity, what if they go into the banks and the transfer of money or the check that you wrote clears for a different amount? And this spreads to enough people, you're not going to trust your bank. You don't want to buy anything or spend anything or write a check or do anything because you don't trust the bank is going to have the right amount. And he said, oh, we war game that very scenario.
Wow.
Scared the you know what out of me.
So they know.
Yes. And I said, if that happens, the banking system will be shut down until they can straighten it out. What do? If the banking system is shut down, you can't go to the store, you can't use a credit card to buy groceries, you're down to just the cash you have in your wallet. You should have some food on hand.
That's right.
And this doesn't have anything to do with, this isn't a scenario that doesn't have anything to do with the power grid or anything. This is a completely different reason to keep some food on hand, be prepared.
We will be right back after this special message.
Yeah.